Welcome back to the channel, everyone, in this week's comic book recap and review. A few years ago, DC Comics introduced us to one of their newest villains, and he became immensely popular. Of course, I'm talking about the Batman Who Laughs. However, he was not alone. He had his own soldiers, his own captains, who were loyal to his cause and who would carry out his initial attacks against Earth Zero, the first Earth of the multiverse. Starting this week, we're going to review those captains, dubbed the Dark Knights, who they are and where they came from. It is important to note that the Batman Who Laughs and these Dark Knights come from the Dark Multiverse, a multiverse that is seemingly collapsing in on itself, and when we finally get to the origin of the Batman Who Laughs, we will reveal the larger plot behind his schemes, his goals, and more importantly, who he is working with. With that, this week we're going to cover the Red Death and Murder Machine, as they appeared in Dark Knight Metal, Dark Knights Rising. We begin on Earth 52. The Flash is frantically running through the streets of a collapsing central city. The Earth is beginning to fall apart, but this Flash is not running towards danger, he's running away from it. As he eludes his pursuer, he pleads with him to stop and work with him to save the city, but his pursuer is someone who does not give up easily. It is the Batman himself, and he is armed with the weapons of all the rogues, including Mirror Master and Captain Cold. He declares that the Flash is just too late, and it is time he hand over the Speed Force. The Flash tries to get him to understand that the Speed Force cannot bring back the ones he has lost, that he himself has tried and failed with devastating consequences, but the Batman believes he can do it differently. The two former allies battle it out in the street, the Batman employing all of his tactics and gear, including the Batmobile, but the Flash is able to knock the Batman down with the tornado generated from his left arm. The Flash approaches the prone Batman, begging him to find his compassion, believing that he can get through to his old friend one more time. But the Batman turns once again and injects the Flash with the cryogenic formula created by Mr. Freeze to keep his wife Nora Freeze in suspended animation. And although this formula will only last a few seconds on the speedster, it is enough time for the Batman to knock the Flash unconscious. A few minutes later, the Flash comes to. He realizes that he is bound by chains to the front of the Batmobile as the Batman revs the engine. The theory, if the Batman drives fast enough with the Flash attached to his vehicle like some sick, twisted hood ornament, the Speed Force will activate and he will be able to harness its energy and abilities. The Flash warns him that this course of action will rip them both apart, and unfortunately, for both of our heroes, they're both correct. As our two heroes disintegrate into the Speed Force, we are transported to that Earth's Gotham City. Lawlessness and chaos are ruling the streets, the police are defeated, mass hysteria is in control, and supervillains run free. The Scarecrow tries to corner a frightened couple trying to escape to safety. As he is about to strike, he himself is cut in two at the waist by a powerful blow from a newly created being. This being looks similar to Batman, but is bathed in blood red. As the Scarecrow is murdered, this new being declares that he is vengeance, he is justice, and another voice is heard, one only this new being can perceive, and it begs him to stop, but it's just too late. This is the new Batman. This is the first appearance of the Red Death, an unhinged and merciless form of the original Batman infused with the Speed Force, because it is true that both the original Batman and the Flash were torn apart, but they were also reassembled into this new harbinger of violence. The Scarecrow, the Riddler, the Penguin, the Man-Bat, all of them are eliminated in the most gruesome fashion by the Red Death. And when the city is devoid of the criminal element, the Red Death turns his attention to saving the crumbling world. But even he sees that it is now too late, and nothing can be done to stop the inevitable. At that moment, another voice is heard, speaking to the Red Death, letting him know that Earth 52 is out of time. But there is another way for this Batman to live on. This new voice states that he has been sent by his master, Barbatos, and that if they joined together, they could enter a new world where they were all destined to live. The Red Death accepts this offer. We are then transported to Earth Zero in Central City. Iris and Wally West are walking the streets talking about the mysterious mountain that has appeared in Gotham City and about the Flash himself. As they converse, red bats come firing down from the sky, destroying what they hit, followed by the Red Death, teleported from Earth 52 onto this new plane of existence. Iris confronts the Red Death. Wally West attempts to do the same, but it seems as if the appearance of this Dark Knight speedster has drained him, aged him, leaving him helpless. As the Red Death thinks about that world's Flash, he appears, declaring that he will not allow his city to be a sacrifice of any kind. The Flash chases the Red Death, but the Red Death's Speed Wake and Speed Force bats slow the Flash down, draining him much like it did Wally West. The Red Death goes in for a kill shot, but the Flash realizes that the voice he hears is Bruce Wayne's, his friend, and asks for compassion, which startles the Red Death, interrupting his final blow. Barry Allen is saved only by the intervention of Dr. Fate, who teleports him out of Central City. The Red Death exclaims that they will fight again, that Barbatos has foretold it, and he then begins to turn that Central City into a version of his own, destroying structures and then setting his sights on Gotham. Our last panel of this chapter is the mysterious voice that spoke to the Red Death on Earth 52 that gave him his offer, and this voice explains that one bad day will kill a world, but one bad week could kill a multiverse. Our next chapter begins on Earth Zero, in Detroit, at Star Labs. Silas Stone, Cyborg's father, is working in his office on a piece of mysterious metal. He is interrupted by his son calling him and pleading with him to get to safety, that cities all over the United States are in chaos, and that Detroit could be next. Silas states that he cannot, that he will be safe, and that he can be of help with whatever is going on. Victor relents and remains where he is, on duty at the Watchtower. Before they can close their conversation, Cyborg is alerted to someone teleporting into the Watchtower itself. He turns to look, and it is the Batman, who has been missing for some time. This is a welcome sight for Victor, until the Batman reveals himself to be something different and attacks Victor with an energy blast. We then flash back to Earth 44 into the Batcave in a horrific attack. Harley Quinn, Two-Face, Bane, Killer Croc, Clayface, and the Man-Bat are torturing Alfred for information, and when Alfred does not give it up, they murder him, shattering his spine. We then realize that what we are watching is a security recording. Bruce Wayne is playing it over and over, obsessing over his failure and his loss. Diana and Clark Kent approach him. They try to convince him that what he is doing is not helping and that he should be upstairs at Alfred's wake. But the loss of Alfred, another father and partner in his life, is too much for Bruce to handle. As the rest of the Justice League exit, Bruce asks Victor to stay behind. He wants Victor's help to upload a scan of Alfred's brain pattern in an effort called the Alfred Protocol, which will allow Alfred to continue to be there for him digitally. We then see the continuation of Cyborg in this new Batman's battle. The Batman taunts Cyborg about how he should know about how the relationship between fathers and sons can be an unbreakable bond. The Batman threatens Cyborg's father, who can still see and hear what is going on in the Watchtower, but Cyborg fights back until the Batman reveals the true nature of the Alfred Protocol as a digital form of Alfred generates right in front of him. Flashback to Earth 44, a month before the attack on the Watchtower, dozens of these same Alfred AIs surround Bane. He explains that he is leaving, going to the airport, leaving Gotham forever, that he doesn't need to be killed, but it's too late for Bane. Like the other villains before him, these digital Alfreds murder him in the street. As Bruce watches on from the Batcave, Cyborg enters to confront Bruce about this new course of action he is taking. Cyborg asks that Batman help destroy this new virus, this Alfred Protocol, but Bruce cannot fathom the thought of living without his dear friend and father figure anymore. The Alfred Protocol asks Bruce to just ring the bell to let him in, and Bruce does exactly that. The Alfred Protocol merges with the physical form of Batman, creating something that is seemingly invincible, a cross between Cyborg and the Batman, one without weakness. This is our first appearance of Murder Machine. Back on Earth Zero, this new Batman declares that he wants access to the computer systems at Star Labs in Detroit, which will allow him to spread the Alfred Protocol all over the world. He tells Cyborg that it is useless to fight because he couldn't defeat him on Earth 44, so he'll not be able to defeat him now. And as we see Earth 44's Cyborg beheaded by this new Batman, the mysterious stranger who spoke to the Red Death gives this Murder Machine a similar offer, to which he also accepts. In the Watchtower, Cyborg appears to have an opening to strike against this new Batman, but he is hit from behind by a new intruder. In fact, there are 5 new intruders, including the Red Death. They batter and bludgeon Cyborg into unconsciousness, and then let Silas Stone know that they will be coming for him next. At that moment, our mysterious stranger makes an appearance. He is familiar as he has the smile of the Joker, but he is dressed in an outfit that makes him appear as something more, something darker, something vile. As this chapter concludes, we see Earth Zero in the grips of apocalyptic violence, and the Watchtower is now taken and transformed into the image of this new threat. And that is the origin of the Red Death and Murder Machine. What do you think? Which Dark Knight is your favorite? Next week, we will continue this series with our next 2 Dark Knights, Dawnbreaker and The Drowned. I hope you enjoyed this look back, and if you want more comic book fun, check out my playlist on the Comicverse by clicking on the thumbnails at the end of the video. And please, don't forget to like and subscribe for more pop culture fun. It really helps out the channel. I thank you for watching, and as always, remember I'm still your reluctant gringo from south of the border. Salute, and a huevo.